failed to qualify. Our Dr. Scholl's race analysis, 43 cars, 500 laps here at the Martinsville Speedway. That'll be 263 miles around this pretty much half-mile racetrack. They can go 90 to 95 laps, Larry.
Well, actually, they can go a lot further than that. It's about 150 to 160 laps. But one thing that we see, the air temperature is 79 degrees, track temperature is 95, a lot warmer than anybody had yesterday in practice.
Yeah,
sun's out today.
And the thing about that, Larry, is it's harder on the driver. It's also harder on the cars. You run in these tight confinements here, bumper to bumper the way they do. You bend that grill in a little bit, that water temperature goes up, brake ducts closed off, you're out of here.
That's our analysis. Dr. Scholl's, look, feel, do better.
Now, one thing we need to make is the 29 car, we see him sitting on the backstretch right now. Not only do they have a new driver in that car, since it is a driver change, they qualified 7th. They have to start at the rear of the field per NASCAR rule because of a driver change. And you know what, DW? When Jeff Gordon takes the green flag at the start-finish line, the 29 car is going to be somewhere over on the backstretch.
But if I was Kenny Wallace, I wouldn't be disappointed in that because he hadn't even been in this car. He's going to need a few laps just to get up to speed. You can't just jump in there and come right up to race speed. It's going to take a few laps of practice.
You on in-cars? We've got in-cars. We've got lots of in-cars. We've got suspension cams and brake cams and all sorts of fun to have here today. Bobby Hamilton has a brake cam and Rusty Wallace suspension cam, and add to that mix Elliott Sadler. In the Wood Brothers car, you'll go all access with him on Fox Sports Net tonight.
Now, Mike and Larry, by popular demand, here we go. Boogity, boogity, boogity.
These cars be fighting for the bottom of that racetrack. Fast way around, lots of grip right around that yellow curb. Bobby Hamilton tries to outbrake Jeff Gordon getting into turn 3, but the grip's down there at the bottom.
Well, so many times if you can get up on that outside, everybody's trying to get to the bottom. And you can make some passes back in the field, particularly if your car's hooking up pretty good on the outside.
Like Bobby Hamilton's trying to do for the lead off turn 2.
He's got it.
You saw Jeff Gordon in 24 get a little bit sideways when he put the throttle down, and that's going to be the big thing about this weather change. This racetrack is real slick, getting forward bite. The rear wheels will not hook up when you accelerate off the corner.
But for Jeff Gordon, mission accomplished. He's led this race, 5 bonus points. Now he can settle in for what they hope is a long run. First lap Bobby Hamilton has led since Talladega last October.
Well, there's just so much you got to do here. You got a really low gear with 800 horsepower, and like Larry said, hooking that all up is going to be the key. And see, everybody's fighting, and watch that 14 car. I'm watching him particularly. They're all fighting for the bottom, and he has made a bunch of passes on the outside. That won't be the way to go later on, but right now with them bottling up around the bottom, it was the way to go, and he moved way up. There goes Ricky Craven up on the outside.
Ricky Craven's car, we heard Matt Yoakum report, different setup, but same race car. That car worked pretty good up that second group when he won the race here last fall.
Ooh, Kurt Busch got a little high right there entering turn number 1, late entry, and squirreled it up and now finds himself at odds with Mike Skinner. Matt Kenseth's grill is pushed in from the back bumper of Dave Blaney.
Yeah, that's one of the problems of starting mid-pack, is you know you're going to get a little damage, and that you can't take a lot of damage on these front ends here and keep everything cool.
Ricky Craven running hard on the outside. He passed Ricky Rudd. Now he goes after Robbie Gordon.
He's really getting into turn 3. I mean, he is flying down in there.
And normally you'll pay a price in the center of the corner for doing that, but his car really turned through the middle and hooked up off the corner.
Darrell, you have to use up a lot of brake, though, going into the corner that hard.
It's okay early. Do what you got to do early. Get yourself in position and then ride. Don't worry about it right now. Just use it up.
Well, Craven fought to get by that pack. Now he's in clean traffic. This is when Mike Bean, his crew chief, would say, okay, settle down, float that thing in the corner, stay off the brakes. Give him a little work, give him a little help here.
He's just trying to clear some of that traffic, get himself in, up near the front. He'll be fine.
Elliott and Spencer, the two Dodges side by side.
It's a battle for 7th.
Got to race for the lead here. Going back to the front is Jeff Gordon. I noticed his car in practice, it was a little slow in the get-go, but it really is consistent. Jeff Gordon I'm talking about.
And that's a product normally of low air pressure. They will lower the air pressure in these tires down to about 10 pounds on the left side. They'll almost look flat, and around 19 or 20 on the right side, because over a long run here, it will gain so much air pressure from the heat, the tires will start feeling like basketballs bouncing.
You got brake heat. brake heat is a big factor on the front tires here. That's why you got to start them out so low. And then the concrete, the front end wants to chatter a little bit, creates a lot of tire pressure.
Andy Hillenberg, who was here with the Dave Marcus car pretty much as a field filler, goes to the garage.
Right now, the leaders, Jeff Gordon, Bobby Hamilton in the 55, they're about a straightaway behind the back of the field. But when they catch that back of that field lap traffic, that's when it really gets exciting.
Unlike maybe Bristol or some other racetracks where the spotter or the crew chief can tell you to pick it up, you really are just pretty much stuck. There's nowhere you can go because you can't just pull out and pass that wheel.
Tell you a car that's working good, up high, down low, right around the curve. Ricky Craven in the 32 goes by Ryan Newman in the 12 car. Of course, this is Ryan Newman's very first start of any kind here at Martinsville.
That 32 car looks mighty stout.
Riding with Earnhardt Jr. in third place behind Jeff Gordon and Bobby Hamilton.
And Larry, I know we've talked about Ricky Craven, the 32 car, Kyle Wells. Those guys have accomplished a lot in a fairly short period of time. They build their own chassis. They do a lot of in-house stuff. They should be very proud of the success they've had earlier.
Already built their own chassis just in their third year of racing with success.
Now Tony Stewart caught a little bit of the curve. You saw that car bounce the last time by.
He went airborne. He jumped the cushion is probably the way he'd explain it.
Boy, listen to the RPMs, that two-car Rusty Wallace. You talked about it, they're low gears, like 643, 650s. I mean, that's as low as we pull anywhere. About 9,000, 9,100 to end the straightaways. But it's not RPMs that necessarily hurts the motor because it just goes up there and spikes. It don't stay there.
Yeah, it's not sustained RPM. It's just up and down, and that's okay.
But it does it 1,000 times a race.
It gets a breather in there, though. It goes up to 92, back down to 6,000, so it gets a breather.
For 1,000 times a day. 500 laps. Twice each lap. Pole sitter Jeff Gordon's our leader. Bobby Hamilton, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Terry Labonte, and Rusty Wallace are the front five at Martinsville. Welcome back to Martinsville at 22 laps, one change among the top five. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has passed Bobby Hamilton for second place. Let's have a look at it.
Looks like he gets a nose under him coming down the straightaway here, and I think Bobby lets him go because he saw that Dale was a little quicker than he was. And by the same token, Dale has driven off and left him, so that was a good move on Bobby Hamilton's part.
The worst thing you can do here is run side by side.
Oh, yeah, and Schrader's got a flat tire. Schrader's wobbling around here.
Now,
left rear.
The only entrance to pit road is at turn 2. Schrader trying to get low. He can't get down, can't get inside, so he cannot pit.
Here he comes. Here he comes.
I'm sorry, turn 3. The exit is at turn 2.
He's going to lose a lot of time. He'll go in pit road right here, 35 miles an hour.
He's going to lose a lot of air. He's going to lose time, sheet metal. That's going to be a bad break.
The only thing that saved him is his pit box was real near the entrance of pit road, so that kept him from having to go all the way down pit road.
You know, we've run 25 laps, pretty clean so far. Nobody beating on anybody yet. But that's because, here we go, got a caution, probably some debris off of Schrader's car, I'd say.
Now, since they went to one, they used to pit on both sides of this racetrack, front and back stretch. There is the debris on the speedway.
Yeah, that's the panels and all. I think it beat out probably crushed panels out of Schrader's car. What I was going to say was that we haven't had much action so far, Mike, because every crew chief spotter's telling everybody to take care of your car. Don't beat the nose in and don't use up your brakes. Ooh, he's on fire up under there.
That left rear is aflame.
That's probably brake ducts and stuff.
And if we were at most racetracks, 26 laps, pit road would be crowded, but you can about trust me, those leaders up front, they will not dare give up track position.
This is not a good, that's his brake hoses is on fire, and he needs to get that put out. That's right back there by the fuel cell.
On fire. All right, left rear is on fire. You're going to have to run around here and get a hose. That left rear is on fire.
He went 3 laps down through all that. That just shows you how fast they're moving around this place. We have a few guys at the back of the field that's pitted, but everybody up front stayed out.
Come on, come on.
Trying to get Schrader
Still
to a fire
back behind the
extinguisher.
tire.
Boy, he needs to too. That's all right. Around the rear, the fuel cell back there.
Get a big fire extinguisher here. Pull right in here. Let's take it out. In there, don't run over nobody.
He's melting M&Ms right off the side of that thing.
Straight in. All right, fire extinguisher out now. Fire extinguisher out.
Hope it stops. It does.
Okay, now. Okay, let's go.
put it out. Well, they didn't put it out.
They didn't either.
Oh, jeez. Tough day for Kenny Schrader. That's the way things go here at Martinsville. That M is charbroiled. That's Kenny Schrader's car, and they've got it on a jack stand on pit road with mechanics working underneath it.
That's a shadow of Schrader right there.
Let's first show you. This was the initial contact between, well, not that one, this one, between Kyle Petty and Kenny Schrader. Right there. It took about 4 or 5 laps for that tire to finally deflate.
There it goes.
And then when it went down,
there it goes.
Kenny had to come all the way around before he could get onto pit road, and damage resulted.
And these tires do not run an inner liner because it's a short track, and Dick Berggren can tell us a little more.
Can you spell mess? That's what Schrader's got right now. He is having a really tough time breathing inside the car because so much fire extinguisher material has been used here. And this tire, that's what it is. It's a tire that's all wrapped around the rear end housing, continues to smolder and burn. So Schrader keeps adjusting his face mask. He keeps working on his air hose to try to get clean, fresh air. To Matt.
Well, Dick, we were talking earlier about gear choices, and Larry, I spoke with Mike Beam this morning. They went a little more conservative. They went with the same gear they had last year. They went with a 633. And how they came up with that decision? Roy McCulley, the chief engineer, Mike Beam, and Ricky Craven all took a pen and wrote in their hands what gear they thought they should run. They opened their hands. 33 was the choice.
This restart, a bad break for Steve Park and Frank Kimmel. They were judged not to have beaten the caution paddle, but they couldn't come around to line up next to the lead car on that final pace lap before we went green.
Now, having been down there for the last couple of days, here's what I've learned. A lot of these guys are pulling a 33 gear, but they also have overdrive or underdrive in this case, where they can switch into a different gear, third gear, and they will have a 650 gear. So you have the option to run the 33 at times, shift into third gear, run a 50.
All right, I want to see Terry Labonte lead a lap. I think all America wants to see Terry Labonte lead a lap. It's been more than a year since he's done so. He qualified well, trying to pass Rusty Wallace here on the outside.
Has a brand new race car here. They've been running brand new race cars about every week.
And
Tough sledding, though, Daryl, on the outside.
The reason that they've been running new cars is because Terry told me that he felt like in the last year or two, we got bottleneck over here off of turn 2.
Yeah.
Cars are
Jimmy Johnson was in trouble, and everybody ran up into him.
It's ignition. His ignition failed. He's switching boxes, and here he goes again.
That's exactly what it's
Oh, Rusty, turn 1. Rusty slid way up the racetrack and almost didn't get back down.
Inside, one
Ricky
more.
Craven was
After
coming right
that,
through
it's
there,
clear.
almost coming right down into the
Clear.
32 car Ricky Craven.
That, I don't know what happened to Rusty. That if he had contact with Tony Stewart or if he just went in too deep, but that had concrete written all over it for a while there. Let's see what happened here.
Oh, Tony gets a run on him, and Tony thinks he's going to give him some room, and it just didn't happen.
And it didn't look like Rusty knew he was there either.
Probably knew he was there, but probably wasn't going to give him any room. Just follow up on Terry Labonte. He told me the last couple of years he thought their cars, their design, their changes that they made in their cars, he and Dehart wasn't working for him. He and Jimmy Long are getting along a lot better. They're communicating a lot better, and they're building new cars the way Terry likes them.
Went off that good run at Texas last week. Good top 10 finish. And just real quickly to update you under that caution, that pretty much what happened is what we anticipated. Every car from about 26th place back pitted. That's how Frank Kimmel and Steve Park got trapped in the pits by the pace car. Now, they're already on different agendas from the leaders. Daryl, what those guys want is this race to go about 30 or 40 laps. Another caution, they'll stay out because the leaders have to pit. We're going to see that all day long.